Meeting called to order. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. Welcome to Taj Toastmaster Club, club number 1158, Area 6, Division B, under District 79. Myself, Sunil Idukula, your Surgeon at Arm for today's meeting, and I welcome you all for the 967th meeting of Taj, the program year 2021-2022. At Toastmasters, we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Let's start our weekly meeting by repeating our club oath after me. For better listening.
For better listening.
For better thinking.
For better thinking.
For better speaking.
For better speaking.
We learn by doing.
We learn by.
As you all would know about that, we are doing hybrid meeting. So I have kept the house rules very simple. Please keep microphone on mute during the speech is ongoing. Upload your appreciations through emojis. If you consider yourself presentable, switch on your video to enjoy the meeting. Please avoid cross-talking during the speech. All speakers are requested to avoid aggressive talks about religion, politics, and sex. In case any technical assistance, you can contact our host or co-host during the meeting time. So now I'm not taking much time. Now I will hand over the stage to our presiding officer. Our presiding officer is oral surgeon by profession, passionate Toastmaster. He is since 2017 is our club. An exemplary leader, a great speaker. Very recently, he achieved his DTM award and current area winner. Please help me welcome our club president, none other than DTM Dr. Sundar Ramalingam. Doctor, stage is for you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Sunil, for that generous introduction. Fellow Toastmasters, all my dear friends and guests, a warm good evening to you all. Our choices are what that decide our life. So choices in life is the great theme that we are going to have a meeting about today. On behalf of the ExCom and all the members of Taj Toastmasters Club, I welcome you all for meeting number 967 of Taj Toastmasters. In life, we all make choices at every particular point in time. So we go to school. Of course, when we are kids, there are somebody else who is making a choice for ourselves. And when we grow a little older, there are others who make choices for ourselves. And we do make choices of our own. So choosing the right stream of education, choosing the right profession, choosing the life partner, choosing the best car, or choosing the most interested property, or choosing the place of entertainment or holiday. All of these are choices that we make in life. So at every point in time, the word choice is always there in front of us. The most important thing is we need to look back at our experiences that we learned, and we try to bring in that so that we make educated choices that give us the best outcome or result. I'm sure we all made a great choice of joining Toastmasters. And being Toastmasters, we all have grown up the ladder of communication and leadership and are endeavoring to see a better version of ourselves every time we walk on the stage, every time we sit in the virtual lectern, or every time we perform in front of someone, every time we take up a role, be it a small role such as that of a meeting leader or a big role such as of an organizing chair of a great event. So let us be happy about this choice and continue in the path of bettering our own versions. So before we get on to the actual meeting, we have to introduce a few guests who have with us here today. So let me call upon our guests to introduce themselves and introduce themselves to us all here in Taj. So we have Toastmaster Neha Chaitanya. Toastmaster Neha has joined us today, and she has taken one of the big three roles. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Neha, for that one. And she has joined us here all the way from Kuwait. Ma'am, we are not able to hear you.
Yeah, actually, because I was busy hearing you.
No problem.
Okay. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. I'm Toastmaster Neha. I'm from Timber Talkers, Kuwait, and it's a great pleasure to be part of this meeting and looking forward for this meeting.
Thank you.
All the best to all the contestants.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Neha, and thank you for believing that our regular club meeting is like a contest. It is just a regular meeting today. So, in fact, at Taj, we always believe that, we try to give in the best shot at every given point of time, and thank you for that encouraging word right at the start. We also have another guest here. I don't know whether they're a guest or a member. I see Faisal Islam English Medium School. Is that a guest who has joined us? I'm trying to ask them to unmute. I'm sorry, unfortunately, the person seems not responding. So let us further move ahead.
Point of order, Dr. Point of order. There is another guest, is there? Mudassir Farooq.
Yes. Yeah, we have Toastmaster Mudassir Farooq. Toastmaster Mudassir is the Vice President Education of another club in Area 6. Toastmaster Mudassir, I'm sorry, I completely overlooked. Toastmaster Mudassir, could you please introduce yourself to Taj Club? He is actually the Vice President Education of Mecca Toastmasters Club, another club of Area 6.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Dr. Sundar, for giving me an opportunity to express my thanks to everyone. Actually, you did not forget me. You just considered me as a part of the Taj fraternity, so it's okay. And thank you, and wish you all the best.
Thank you very much for being so benevolent. Indeed, we consider you as one family. Area 6 and all Toastmasters, for that matter, are one family. So, we all feel happy and proud about that. Thanks for joining us, Toastmaster Mudassir. We have Faisal Islam. Can you please introduce yourself? And we would appreciate if you could rename with your name rather than the name of the school. Faisal Islam. Okay, there is no response. Anyway, I humbly request all members who are here to rename themselves with their names or suitable names so that it is easy for us to identify as the host as and when the participation is going on. So before we move on to the education session of today's meeting, we need to appreciate all our winners of last week's meeting. So we had our best speaker. Our best speaker was Toastmaster Sunita Johnny. Our best table topic speaker was distinguished Toastmaster Manaz Al-Bukhari. Our best evaluator was Toastmaster Muhammad Mateen. And our best meeting leader was Toastmaster Bhaskar. And the best of big three was Toastmaster Rajan Jose. I request you all to give a big round of applause for the winners of last week's meeting. Congratulations and keep up the good work. And these are the small tokens of appreciation that we all feel happy and proud about, and let us take that forward. Since we do not have any further guests to introduce or any more announcements to make, we will now move on to the education session. And to conduct today's education session, we have someone really simple, boring, and someone whom you would not tolerate for a long time. It is none other than yours truly. I've already bored you for quite some time now, so I'm going to bore you for the entire meeting of today. Before I start, you look at the beautiful virtual background, right? A thatched hut, beautiful place somewhere in Thailand. I took this photo, not from my own personal collection, but from the internet. Given a choice, we would all like to have a meeting such as this in a location such as this. Would you all agree? How many of you would like to have a meeting here in this location, exotic location? Yeah, I can see Toastmaster Mohammed Shakir. He likes traveling. What about you, Toastmaster Sunil? Yeah, distinguished Toastmaster Manaz is also putting up the hands. Oh, Toastmaster Jabir Ali. Great. Kudos. I think we all should make a choice in life, not only joining Toastmasters, but also make a choice in life that we all go on a group trip such as this. Now that COVID is going off, pandemic is wearing out. They say that the pandemic is becoming an endemic. Another choice made by some of the big guns who are moderating things about the pandemic all over the world. So probably we should all take a cue from this one. If not as far as Thailand, at least somewhere here, we should all make a choice. Probably it might look farraginous of this choice, but still we all should give it a shot and then try to get it done someday, sometime. So that is what is the theme that I would like to bring in when it came for the choice in life that I would like to make and suggest you. Similarly, we all have choices to make at every point in life. One of the best quotations that came across to me when I'm talking about choices is it's actually a quote by J.K. Rowling in the book Harry Potter. It is our choices, Harry. Actually, it is said by Albus Dumbledore, the headmaster of the school. I don't know how many of you are following Harry Potter. For those of you who know, Albus Dumbledore is a prominent figure. He is like the godfather of Harry Potter, the titular character of the novel. And he's the school headmaster of the magic and wizardry school where Harry Potter is a student, an upcoming magician. So it is our choices, Harry, that show what we truly are, far more than our abilities. So you may be bestowed with all the skills, all the talent, and all the knowledge in the world, but the right choice takes you to the right place. So let us all learn to make the right choices at the right point in time. And more importantly, we have the younger generation in front of us. So let us all show them the path to make the right choice. Something that gives them a better opportunity in life in the future. So talking about this, I just came across a new concept, which I would like to embrace as a personal choice in my life. So this concept is called as carbon neutrality. I don't know how many of you have heard about carbon neutrality. How many of you heard about carbon neutrality? Any guesses? Well, this is a choice that personally I would like to make. But before I tell you what carbon neutrality and what the concept is and why I made this choice, let me move on to the meeting. To help me with today's meeting, we have an excellent array of meeting leaders. We have the pillars. They are called the pillars of the meeting because they help us conduct the meeting in a correct fashion. So we have our counter. So let me request Toastmaster Mohammed Shakir, our counter for today, to introduce his role. Toastmaster Mohammed Shakir, could you please introduce your role and what will be the role that you will be taking up and doing in today's meeting?
Thank you, Toastmaster of the evening. A very warm good evening to all of you. As an accounter, the purpose of accounter is to note words and sounds that are used as a crutch or pause filler by anyone who speaks. During the meeting, I will listen for overused words, including and, well, but, so, and you know. I will also listen for filler sounds, including and I will also note when a speaker repeats a word or phrase, such as I, or this means, this means. At the end of the meeting, I will report the number of times that each speaker used these expressions. And I will give my report once called upon by the general evaluator. Thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Mohammed Shakir, for giving us a lucid explanation of what the accounter's role is and how important it is to make a choice not to use these filler words, as, ers. Please make a choice today when you're on the virtual lectern not to use those words. Try to make it as a pause, rather, or try to fill it up with something that is meaningful. Next up, we have our timer. Toastmaster, I think there is a change in the agenda accordingly. So the timer is Toastmaster Dr. Arunachalam. I'm sorry, there has been a major change before that. Our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Hassan Hussain, was unable to join us due to a personal emergency at the last moment. So I will be taking up the role of the TMOD. So that's the major change. The next change is that of the timer. Toastmaster Dr. Arunachalam is our timer today. Toastmaster Arunachalam, can you please explain to us the role of the timer?
Am I audible?
Loud and clear, Toastmaster Dr. Arunachalam.
Fellow Toastmasters and welcomed guests, pleasant good evening to all. Today, my role as a timer is keep to time for all the speakers to ensure that everyone speak within their allotted time slot. This will also help to ensuring that the meeting run on time. To help to meet this, I have the 3 digital card, green, amber, and red. For example, in the prepared speech, the time is 5 to 7 minutes. I shall raise the green card at 5 minutes, and amber 6 minutes, and the red for 7 minutes. So all the speakers, table topics, and evaluator have a grace period for 30 seconds on their either the specific time limit. I will prepare the reports and present my report when called upon the Toastmaster of the day. All the very best to all the speakers. Back to Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Dr. Arunachalam, for explaining us the role of the timer. Okay, so it is indeed crucial that we make guided and educated choices when it comes to time, because time and tide wait for no man. And if there is something that can never be lost and taken again, well, the only thing I would personally feel is time, because even 1 second that is lost cannot be taken back. So we always have to be judicious in our choices when we make regarding time, and that's the role of the timer. And I believe we all, as speakers and role players today, will be taking those judicious choices. We have our word master and grammarian. Our grammarian Toastmaster PK Philip was unable to join, so actually it was supposed to have been done by Toastmaster Ananja. Unfortunately, Toastmaster Ananja is also facing some technical difficulties. He joined us, but he's having some issues with the audio. So we'll be having, I'll explain the word, or I can request somebody from the floor who's ready to take up as the word master and grammarian. DTM Manas. Oh, thank you very much, DTM Manas. The word of the day is ferruginous. We'd appreciate if you could explain to us the word and what you would be doing as the word master and the grammarian. And thank you very much for taking it up on the go, and a bright choice indeed, distinguished Toastmaster Manas. Can you please unmute yourself?
Yes. Toastmaster of the evening, my fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests, a very warm good evening to one and all. The word of the day today is ferruginous. And the literal meaning of the word is mixed. We at Taj Toastmasters have a ferruginous culture when it comes to unity, and that's what makes Taj so special. The adjective ferruginous ultimately comes from the Latin noun ferrago, which means infectional stem ferragin. It's usually a term which is used for mixing different compounds together. However, in general, we suspect that simpler the pasta dish, the more successful it's likely to be. But fancier linguine alla grana was a disaster, a ferruginous mound with bits of filet mignon and mushrooms in a fatty brown sauce. I have heard this phrase when our preparations go wrong in my hotel management classes. In Malayalam, we call "Aage Pade Aviyele Parivamai," and that's the entire literal translation of ferruginous. So the entire pudding was a ferruginous recipe. Is one thing which we can always say, and that reminds me of ferruginous. And today, as a grammarian, I would be noting the great usage of English language in today's meeting, and also will be noting down some grammatical errors which might happen during the course of our speeches. And as a word master, I will be counting the number of times our speakers uses the word ferruginous during the course of this meeting. Back to Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster Manaz Al-Bukhari, for picking up the choice of the grammarian and the word master on the trot. impromptu decision to make. And that shows the true caliber of a great leader like you. Thank you very much. And I believe we all try to use this word. This word sounds a little bit, I would say, if we use these kind of words, we might be deemed as the Shashi Tharoor of our community. Probably, I believe you all know about Shashi Tharoor. The great, he's the famous politician from India, and he always tries to use these words. So let's all try to also inculcate such vocabulary that we can also say that, oh, I also Allah Shashi Tharoor. So I can give these ferruginous words. So in fact, ferruginous is like a confused mixture. Just remember that if you have something, you find, you know, the old treasure box from your childhood days. Okay, you open it, you'll see a mixture of all kinds of crap, useful, not useful, and so this you can call it as a ferruginous mixture. So try using that word. And our word master for day, distinguished Toastmaster Manas, gave us a very good example of how, you know, you put all kinds of ingredients and make a soup. So that is also a good example for that. So, and final role player for today's meeting is the vote counter. And as the vote counter for today, I'll be taking up the role. So I'll be helping you with the chatting. I'll be sending you a link for voting. This will be a Google Forms link. And as and when each segment is finished, we will be calling for the qualified speakers or table topic speakers or evaluators for the voting to decide who among them perform to the best of their abilities. So without further ado, let us now jump into the prepared speech session, okay, which is the main segment of our today's Toastmasters meeting education session. So herein we have great speakers who have made the choice to prepare, to struggle hard, to put in all those efforts and to learn the nitty-gritties of public speaking. So here are the members who are going to present their prepared speeches, made their choice about giving a speech, a message, and a take-home message to all our audience. So we have three prepared speakers for today's meeting. And before I call upon the first prepared speaker, let me ask the evaluator of the first prepared speaker to describe the outline or the project objectives. Toastmaster Dr. Arunachalam, our first evaluator, can you please share the details or the project objectives of the first speaker?
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and wonderful guests. Today, my speaker, the purpose of the project is learn or review basic method for writing a speech with a defined purpose and to present well-organized speech of any topics. The project title, the project management Toastmaster context. The speech time 5 to 7 minutes. All the very best for my speaker. Back to Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Dr. Arunachalam, for sharing the project objectives. Our first speaker for today comes from God's own country, Kerala, and he has been staying in Riyadh since 2019 with his wife and daughter. Currently working as a project manager in American Express, he is a certified project management professional with almost 18 years of experience in banking and financial domain. So if you have made a choice of knowing more about banking and finance, then probably he is the go-to man to ask all your ferruginous doubts about banking and finance. I believe I can take the liberty to ask him someday. Fellow Toastmasters and my dear friends, let us put our hands together to welcome Toastmaster Rajiv to deliver his level 1 project 2 from Pathways. Toastmaster Rajiv, the virtual lectern is yours.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Dr. Sundar Ramalingam, also fellow Toastmasters and friends and distinguished guests. Today, as the speaker told, as the TMOD told, my speech is about the project management. So let me start with a famous quote. A good plan today is better than a perfect plan tomorrow. So project management, it's all about planning. And don't misunderstand that it's only applicable in the professional life. We all do it in our day-to-day life as well. Let me provide you a classic example which I did and how I managed a particular task in my life by using the project management technique. So the project was crucial for me. So that's basically to enhance the driving skills of my spouse. So you know that how critical it is, because it's a do or die situation. There is a lot of things can be break and anything can make it better. So here, like any other project manager, I started with a plan. I created a budget to buy a small second-hand car. And I asked, of course, she already got a license, but this is for the second level of how to take it on the road. So that was the project basically. So I asked her to, I sat next to her and I asked her to drive. And when I started that, of course, the timing for this training was quite important because, of course, I should not risk the pedestrian's life just because of that. I wanted my wife to learn driving. So the selection of the timing, that was pretty crucial. And I decided that after 11 o'clock night, I should do that. So with that time, I started helping her by sitting next to her. After some weeks, I decided to move a bit behind. That was the second stage of the project. So I started sitting in the back seat and I allowed her to drive. Considering that, okay, she will be a bit more confident if I am not next to her. She continued, she was okay. I moved to the next milestone of the project that I was outside the car and I was looking at her that, okay, I was walk a bit together where she was taking around in the apartment. So after that, I asked her to drop my kid to the kindergarten where I was following her in a bike on the actual road. So that was a real life scenario which I wanted to test and understand. So that was the last phase of this project. So once I'd done that, what did I achieve? I actually helped her to be mobile by herself, reduced my dependency on her as well as she on me, where I could spare some time and vice versa. So why I'm explaining this? I'm just explaining this in a project management context that it's a task. So what is basically a project management? It should be a temporary endeavor. Similarly, the driving, that's a temporary endeavor. And it should have a definite start and end. Yes, of course, the driving has that. And there is a specific outcome. So the outcome also I explained in this real life example. Now, for us, I will just take this to the next level that how do I explain this project management in a Toastmaster context? So let me give you an example of a specific task which we do in Toastmaster context, which is electing the club officers. Why is it as a project? Because it's a temporary endeavor. It has every role has a definite start and end, and it has an outcome. So for example, when we are electing a club officer, how do we start? So we will do the election or selection. So that's basically one of the first phase of the project, which is initiation. So we will do that. We've identified our VP education, VP membership, etc., etc. Then we will move to the next phase of the project, which is planning. In the planning, we will give the objectives for each of these roles, right? For example, the VP education should improve our education session from 10% to 20%. VP membership should increase the membership of the people to 10 to 20. So these kind of roles, these kind of objectives we will give in a planning phase. Now in the execution phase, we will do the club meetings really, and we will try to achieve these objectives during our regular meetings. Now in the next phase, the monitoring and controlling. Here we will do the status checks often, that how we are performing and where are we against our objectives. And in the closing phase, we will analyze that where are we on the set objectives. And also we will facilitate the winners. We will celebrate the achievements. So through this, all the phases of the project management, the initiation, planning, execution, monitoring and controlling, and the closing, all these things we are executing knowingly or unknowingly in our Toastmaster roles. So with this, let me conclude my speech with a famous quote from Winston Churchill, which says, "Those who have a plan do well, than who don't have a plan, even though they rarely stick to the plan. With this, back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Rajiv, for that great speech about planning and management in the context of Toastmasters. I believe this is one of the easiest ways of explaining to us Toastmasters. When you feed something that we like, then probably we take it in a much more better fashion. Thank you very much. So our next speaker is going to deliver again a level 1, project 2. But before I call upon the next speaker, can I call the evaluator, Toastmaster Mohammed Mateen? Can you please share the evaluation project objectives for the next speaker, for our second speaker?
Very good evening, fellow Toastmasters, my dear guests. The speech tonight, which will be delivered by Toastmaster Rajan Jose. The speech title is Feedback, the Breakfast of Champions. The purpose of the statement, the purpose of the project is to practice applying feedback and serve as a speech evaluator during a club meeting. The purpose of the speech is for the member to demonstrate their ability to deliver an effective, respectable speech evaluation speech. To help the evaluator meet your goals, identify at least one chance you have made to your speech or delivery based on your first evaluation and feedback project speech evaluation. That's all, and best of luck to our speaker. Over to TMOD.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Mateen, for detailing us out the objectives of the speaker's projects. Our next speaker, he has been working in Saudi Arabia for more than 20 years and hails from South India with roots both in Kerala and Tamil Nadu. He is also a project manager by profession with a degree in science, majoring in physics from Loyola College in Chennai. And more recently, he completed his NEBOSH UK certified health and safety, HSE professional. I think HSE stands for health and safety. And he works at Owl Group in Second Industrial City, Riyadh currently. And his professional accomplishments or professional accolades include manufacturing in diverse fields such as infrastructure, telecom, and both as well as in plastic as well as steel fabrication. And something that we are always reminded of this gentleman whenever he talks is like, his ability to vocalize, to sing. I believe he is going to make a choice today also to enthrall us with his singing abilities. I'm not sure. Let's wait and watch for him to perform. And it is none other than Toastmaster Rajan Jose. Let us put our hands together to welcome our second speaker, Toastmaster Rajan Jose, on the virtual lectern.
Thank you. Life is too short for boring food. Make a choice in life to wake up your taste buds each morning. A delight in every bite and a fortunate, ferocious mix. Fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests, feedback is the breakfast of champions. This quote, attributed to Ken Blanchard, an American author, business consultant, and motivational speaker, who has more than 60 published books to his credit. The most famous being The 1 Minute Manager. As we all know, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Without a good breakfast, you won't have the energy to go through the day. Likewise, without feedback, a group like Taj Toastmasters starves and will be unable to improve, adapt, or evolve. My mother used to familiarize us the process of batter preparation for the championship breakfast. The idlis prepared from her batter invariably turned out to be soft as flour. And she would remind us to give feedback, just eager to know what could be improved. Toastmaster Ibrahim, my mentor at Taj Toastmasters, always reminded me of the importance of proper planning in order to execute successfully. Sharing his vast experience in sports, especially with cricket, where athletes know that to improve, they have to receive feedback on their performance. Either an analysis of their performance on the field by a review of a video or analysis of their fitness, diet, metabolism, right down to muscle fiber. Feedback is the gift that should help someone do things differently, change a habit or two, become more self-aware, or understand what they need to change in order to become more successful. Let me ask you a simple question. What is the shortest word in the English language that contains the letters A, B, C, D, E, F? The answer is F-E-E-D-B-A-C-K, feedback. Don't forget that feedback is one of the essential elements of good communication. There is no failure, only feedback. Individuals learn more from failure than they do from success. Our goal should be to learn from our defeats and to surmount them. You can choose to be a kick-ass boss without losing your humanity.
No, sir. No, sir.
For managers, both new and experienced, this can be like threading a needle. Very difficult. Giving people the constructive feedback that they need to grow in their careers without making them feel badly about where they failed or come up short. Unlike a drop of water, which loses its identity when it joins the ocean, man does not lose his being in the society in which he lives. Man's life is independent. He is born not for the development of society alone, but for the development of his self. So said our dear own B.R. Ambedkar. Criticism may not be agreeable, but it is necessary. It fulfills the same function as pain in the human body. It calls to attention on unhealthy state of things. We are heading fast towards that time of the year when Cupid strikes, Valentine's Day. A chance encounter with that certain someone is all that it takes to turn your life upside down. A courageous choice of our life. Strong, accurate, interesting words, well placed, make us feel a writer's emotions and intentions, leading to a memorable narration. The word becomes guides to the feelings that lie between the lines. Robert Frost's epic can be somewhat jarring. They are far and away wildly ferocious and glorious, irresponsible masterpieces in literature. And after reading his narrative poem, The Road Not Taken, his friend, the writer Edward Thomas, took the feedback personally and enlisted to fight for England in World War I. 2 years later, he died in battle. These are choices we make in our life. I shall be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere, ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by. And that has made all the difference. Our choices in life and frequent feedback together make the most powerful leadership strategy. Ferrageous mix. And here at Toastmasters, we are each one of us a leader, right? Fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests, let's all become champions by having a wonderful breakfast full of feedback every day. Let's pledge to unite as one and give better, actionable feedback. Let's make that choice in our life. Over to you, Toastmaster today.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Rajan Jose, for that great speech. And indeed, makes us choose the right breakfast, the breakfast called feedback. I'm sure that there is no shortage of feedback here in Toastmasters, and we'll be having a sumptuous breakfast today as well. So having said that, we move on to our third prepared speech of today's meeting. And to deliver the third prepared speech, I think I have to call the evaluator first before I introduce the speaker. So we have another enthusiastic evaluator here with us who is going to evaluate the third speaker speech. Toastmaster Jabir Ali, could you please explain the project objectives of our third speaker?
Warm good evening to Toastmaster of the evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Today, my speaker, Toastmaster Ibrahim Ali Karjigar, is going to deliver his L3P1 project in Persuasive Influence Pathway. Speech title is Conflict Resolution. Speech length 5 to 7 minutes. Purpose of this project is for the member to develop or enhance his understanding of the steps and strategies to address conflict. I wish my speaker all the best to deliver his speech well.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Jabir, for explaining us the objectives of the third prepared speech. And our third prepared speaker is a passionate Toastmaster. You know, as of my last memory, please correct me if I am wrong, my dear third speaker, he has completed more than 25 levels and pathways just in the current program year. When clubs are struggling to achieve 10, 15, or 20 levels or education awards, as an individual, this Toastmaster has accomplished more than 25 educational awards. Currently working as a planning and control manager at Bahari Logistics Corporate Office, he started his humble beginnings as a self-educated person back in Mumbai and moved on to the USA and completed his diploma in strategic planning and project management there. He also had working stints here in Saudi Arabia during the 1990s and is back here. And one of his prime leadership positions that he always prides himself about or feels proud about is his position as the Washington Metropolitan Cricket Board Vice Chairman and President. And despite all of this, his choice for the best position in his life is that of the role of a dad for his son and daughter. Let us put our hands together to welcome passionate Toastmaster Ibrahim Ali Karjigar to deliver his project speech. Toastmaster Ibrahim, the virtual lectern is all yours.
Can someone please pin down the timer?
We will pin it when the green light is on. To give you maximum screen space, Toastmaster Ibrahim.
Okay, perfect. Fellow Toastmasters, how many of you have arguments with your spouse? Any saint out there who doesn't have argument with your spouse? I see Jabir. Jabir, you don't have arguments? Oh, you're my evaluator, I know. Yep. All right. Now, when you have arguments with your spouse, who wins the argument? You or your spouse?
Always spouse.
Always spouse. How about others? Can I hear some more feedback?
The same thing my spouse says, always the spouse.
There you go. See, and everyone thinks that the other person won, right? Yep. Conflict essentially arises from differences between people, and the same differences that often make diverse teams more effective than those made up of people with similar experience. So you guys are blessed, to be quite honest, that you have arguments. Imagine how life would have been with no argument, not even the vanilla flavor, you know? So understanding and appreciating the various viewpoints involved in conflict are the key factors in its resolution. So once you understand that conflict isn't necessarily a bad thing, it's a healthy thing. And constructively resolving the conflict would essentially make your life better. Once you know this, then essentially you're equipped, because the optimism comes in. Yeah, we are going to have a conflict, and we will resolve that by listening, communicating, by validating each other. This is between the spouses. But what happens when you're going out in the market? And then you have to deal with different personalities who are having their own paradigm. That's exactly what happened in Washington. Mr. Silva, a very hardworking person, originates from Sri Lanka. He bought, or leased for 90 years, the race course, old race course, which was belonging to the Laurel Field out there. And then he converted that into cricket fields. Turf wicket. Oh, it's actually a paradise for cricketers to play on the turf wicket. And he knew what it was, and he wanted to negotiate that better. So when I was the vice chairman, my executive committee went and negotiated with him. And they returned back by saying, this year, the season is down. I said, why? Silva is not agreeing. Look at this. Because we had constraint of budget. And then he is saying he's not willing to give in. I said, well, what exactly happened? And then one of the guys just said, you know, Siptain, he's hot-tempered. He had some bad mouthing, and it upset Silva. And now Silva is not even willing to sit on the table and negotiate. Even the offer which he was giving and we were not accepting, he's not even willing to admit that. Well, that was not acceptable. One full season, boys not playing cricket, that wasn't acceptable. So me and my chairman, we said, well, let's schedule a meeting with the team who had visited down there, and we will visit along with you. So there we were in his office, sitting in there. Silva and his wife were sitting together. And his wife was like, restless. Silva is saying few things. There's a counter argument from an EC. Again, Silva is saying, oh, no. His sentence always started with, no. Good catch. I was just observative. And in my observation, he is a hardworking guy and a guy who has never got validation for his hard work. So there was a time when I intervened. I said, guys, hold on. First, I took a pen out and I said, well, here's the ground rule. The person who has this pen is only going to talk. Nobody else will utter a single word. The work what you rest of the guys are having is to listen to the person who is holding the pen. They call this as an Indian stick practice back in Indian American. And the first person to speak was his wife. I said, ma'am, this is your opportunity. She took a deep breath and she started explaining how much she and her husband had worked on this turf. I truly, my heart moved out. I was purely listening. This couple had put their sweat and blood into making that field a playable field. How could you just ignore that? And then I said, Silva, it's your turn. Silva said, we wake up in the morning at 5 a.m., go out there, run those rollers and everything. We heard everything. And I said, you know what? There are very few people who could put as much effort and energy as you guys, and you and a couple, both of you have put in this field. And it's going to be an honor for every individual in this WMCB to play on that wicket. They both had a deep breath. I said, I will tell you what I have come here for. My boys want to play, and they can't live or sleep without playing. The season is up on us, and I need a favor from you. We have budget constraints, and I know how much you love cricket as well. I know you have multiple choices and options, but I want to play on your field because I have seen those AstroTurf. They are second to none down here in the entire Eastern Province. And he saw that appreciation. That's exactly what he wanted, the validation for all the hard work he was putting in. The money which he was putting in was not what he was looking for. And most of the times, what I have experienced is once you give people what they want, then they are open and willing to negotiate with you. We negotiated 25% less than what our budget was. He was empathic with us, and he was saying, you know what? We have some special occasions down here. I'm willing to give you those days free. So let's be mindful of our emotional state and try to help people what they want, validate people. We always have a choice to validate our people, partners with whom we are negotiating. Once we do that, then people are more than happy and willing to work with you. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Ibrahim Ali Kharjikar, for giving us a great speech about conflict resolution and the choices that you make when you try to resolve a conflict. Fellow Toastmasters, ladies and gentlemen, and my dear welcome guests, we had 3 great speeches. So let us now know from the timer if all our 3 speakers are qualified or not. Mr. Timer, have all our speakers qualified?
All speakers are qualified.
Thank you very much, Timer, Toastmaster Dr. Arunachalam. My dear friends, we have the voting link being shared right now in the chat box. Please vote for the best speaker whom you feel performed that speech to the best of their abilities. And I will not be voting because I am the vote master. So let me move on as the voting goes on with the meeting. So we had 3 great prepared speeches. As I told you before, there were 3 interesting speakers, our club members, who took the choice of preparing, putting in the effort, putting in the hard work to deliver great speeches. And we all definitely learned a lot from that. So now going back to the choice that I have made for myself personally, I was talking to you about a concept that I'm really impressed about and wish to take it up as a choice. So this is about carbon neutrality. So how many of you know, once again, how many of you know about carbon neutrality?
A little bit.
Yeah, Toastmaster Ibrahim says a little bit. Well, it's nothing. It's quite simple that we all have been hearing about global warming. You know, we all know the effects of global warming, how the greenhouse gases, especially carbon dioxide, and all the carbon-based gases which are generated from fossil fuels and all other activities that is warming up the earth. So predictions say, in fact, they are frightening enough, that this ferruginous mixture of greenhouse gases which is warming up the planet is not going to leave behind a planet that is livable for our future generation. Let's not look too far ahead, okay? Probably even our own kids, and in the future, if we have grandchildren, probably they may not have a beautiful place to be called as home as we call it as Earth. Something interesting that I always notice, like, you know, Hollywood movies, they all bring about these fancy concepts of, you know, global warming, some kind of asteroid strike and things that they may look like a figment of fiction, but at times, if you look at it, they are actually the realities that could happen possibly in the future. And there has been a lot of movies made. If you just go into the internet and search about, there are a lot of movies that have been made about global warming and the effects of it. And imagine even 1% of that turns out into reality, then what would happen to our home quarter? So the carbon neutrality concept is something like the carbon that you produce as a result of your activities has to be neutralized by yourself. Either you consume it or you do some activities that help consume this carbon. So certain things that we can do is like to achieve neutrality in the carbon or carbon neutrality as a concept, you start by reducing your carbon or offsetting your carbon credits, or how much of carbon that you produce. Simple things that you could use is like turning off the lights. If you have an unused light, turn it off. If you have those old incandescent bulbs at your home, go ahead, spend a little bit more to make LED bulbs. If you want to be a little bit more proactive, think about buying not a fossil fuel car rather than go for an electric vehicle. Rather, I would say even electric vehicles have their own carbon footprint because they are using electricity that is generated from fossil fuels. So if you want to do that, take a walk, probably once or twice in a week, skip all forms of electronic or mechanized transport and take a walk or ride a bicycle. And these are some small things. There are a lot of information available about carbon neutrality and as a concept, how you could embrace it as a choice in your life so that you do something better for the future generations. A lot of it is available on the internet. So you could go ahead and think about it. So this is a choice that I personally felt that I should take it up, and probably little efforts, but these little drops are the ones that contribute to the bigger picture. So probably you could also think of something that helps you out and helps the community. So having said that, let us now move on to the next important session, or rather the interesting session of our Toastmasters meeting. And this is the impromptu speaking session where we give surprises for all our members. That is the table topic session. So to conduct today's table topic session, we have a very energetic Toastmaster here with us today. In fact, she joined the Taj family a long time ago. It was a bit of a long sabbatical, and then she has joined us here. An English teacher by profession, she has 15 years of experience in various teaching and administrative roles in education management at international schools in Riyadh. She has a degree in English language and literature, along with internationally recognized certifications like CELTA and Delta. She is also the spouse of one of our Toastmasters. So they are like a family who are here with us. Her children are part of Taj Gavels Club as well. Let us put our hands together to welcome Toastmaster Sunita Johnny, our table topics master for today. Toastmaster Sunita, the virtual lectern is all yours.
Thank you, DTM Dr. Sundar. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, a very good evening to all of you. As Dr. Sundar mentioned, we have reached the most exciting part of today's meeting, the table topics, which is dreaded by many, but gives a rush of adrenaline for some. The purpose of Table Topics Master is to facilitate the table topics, where guests and members get an opportunity to practice their impromptu speaking. Developing the skill of impromptu speaking is of help in organizing and articulating one's farraginous ideas and thoughts in a better manner at work or in other areas. And also, interestingly, it helps us to get out of sticky situations. So to meet this goal and help practice today, I will call a speaker and will introduce your topic. The timing for table topics, as you know, is shorter than the prepared speeches. It is a speech that should last 1 to 2 minutes, and 1 minute is for the green light, 1.5, the timer will show the yellow, and at 2 minutes, it is a red light, and then you have 30 seconds to wrap up your speech. So welcome everyone to today's table topic session based on the theme, Choices in Life. I would like to encourage volunteers with an assurance that the volunteers would get easy topics. So do we have any volunteers today? Like a show of hands. All right.
We have Saurabh Tiwari raised there.
DTM Saurabh Tiwari, I see that. Okay, let's start with the first topic.
Yeah.
DTM Saurabh Tiwari, is it your choices or your abilities that show what you truly are? Is it your choices or your abilities that show what you truly are?
Thank you so much, Table Topic Master. When I was a small kid, there was a friend of mine in my class. People used to say that he has got very sharp mind. By giving just 4 to 5 hours of efforts, he can achieve marks as good as any other student can do by working probably 10 to 12 hours per day. I was always wondering, he is so intelligent and rest of the people are not good. The only reason is we are putting more efforts and he is doing the same magic in probably less than half of the efforts that we are putting. Days passed, weeks passed, months passed, and even years passed. When we all grew up, I was able to see a difference between other students and him. We who always did our best were able to carry a lot of knowledge as foundation, and that made us a strong person. However, this guy who used to put very less efforts was able to shine at a very early stage, but on a long run, he was not able to create a good foundation for himself. That is where there was a difference in the personality, in the confidence between him and the rest of the good students of the class. So, my dear friends, I would like to conclude my speech by saying the choices are not everything. The efforts that we put help us get more knowledge, more experience, and that brings us a true gentleman. That brings us the true wisdom that we need to survive for a long run. A wise man has once said, fruits of labor are sweeter than gift of fortune. If you are getting something by choice, it is something as good as a gift of fortune. But if you are putting efforts and making yourself stand taller by the experience of your own success and defeat, that is your hard work, which is making you a real hero for a long run. Believe in yourself, work hard, and enjoy the success for a long time. Thank you so much. Back to the Table Topic Master.
Thank you, DTM Saurabh Tiwari, on your wonderful perspective.
Thank you.
Do we have more volunteers? Yes, we do have. TM Mudassir, the next topic is yours. If given a chance, what is the decision that you would like to reverse? If given a chance, what is the decision that you would like to reverse?
I think Toastmaster Mudassir is not there in the meeting. Because I don't see him here. I'm trying to spotlight his video. It's not there.
Sorry, Toastmaster Umar Farooq. That's you. It's my bad.
Yes. Hello.
Yes, please go ahead.
What was the topic? Can you repeat? Or was it for specific for Mudassir?
Sure, no problem. If given a chance, what is the decision that you would like to reverse?
Now I am thinking I should have reversed, taking part in this table topic. I believe if there is any decision, whatever, all the decisions that you have taken in your life you have come up to all these decisions shape you. I would not like to reverse any decision in my life, because those are the decisions that have shaped my reality, who I am right now. So any decision I am changing, trying to change the reality or past or anything else. So all the decisions that you take, what decision actually? Anybody has any idea? Decisions are just the different choices. You are narrowing down all those choices in your mind. Okay, this is not the feasible. This is remotely not possible at all. So all you come down to one choice you want to make. So you, in that situation, in that context, you have made choice. So whatever choice you have made, you have stuck with it, and you are facing the consequences. We are free to choose. We are free to decide. We are not free of the consequences. So whatever the consequences are, whatever you are going through, whatever you have went through, grow through it. That's how we should. What is to question your, to answer your question, I would say not like to reverse any decision in my life, because all those decisions that I have made throughout the person that I am right now, and I am proud of it, because baddest decision that I have made, because those are the learning opportunities for me. Because I always say that mistakes will keep on being mistakes if you're learning from it. And if you learn from it, they become your lessons. So all those are the lessons for me. And those lessons are making me, keeping me.
Thank you. Thank you for that wonderful attempt and the great speech. The next topic, DTM Ibrahim Karjikar, I can see that you volunteered. Destiny is not a matter of chance. It is a matter of choice. Destiny is not a matter of chance. It is a matter of choice. DTM Ibrahim Karjikar, over to you.
Destiny is not a matter of chance. It's a matter of choice. No two ways about it. Can't agree more than what I do. Because look at great people who were born in very insignificant style of life and where they have elevated themselves. Do you think it was destiny for President Obama to become the president of the greatest nation on this world? No. It's the iteration, the way you are raised, the choices, what you make day in, day out. Think about ourselves every day, every day. If we have the wisdom, and abundance mentality, it's going to create paradigms that is going to lead us to believe and affirm our worth and potential. And then we begin to think in terms of release rather than control. Once you do that, you feel free. So when people are not dependent on external judgments and comparisons for their own sense of personal worth, they are genuinely happy for the successes of others. And once they begin doing that, they don't feel like a victim for whatever. They cherish their choices and they truly embrace their choices. They have the confidence which is required for them to make choices for themselves. And not a single point in their life are they going to regret whatever choices they made. And that's exactly how they create the destiny. Based on the choices, what life has given them. Choices are the biggest blessings what we have got. And our true happiness lies as long as I'm having a freedom to choose. Integrity is choosing courage over comfort. Be courageous to acknowledge I did this wrong. I make those choices, and I choose to make those choices down the road for my own destiny. Over to you, table topic master.
Thank you, TM Ibrahim, on the wonderful speech. Our next topic, we have a guest, Natasha Kumar. Can I call you for the next topic?
Sure. Hi, this is Natasha from India.
Welcome. Welcome to Taj Toastmasters. Your topic is a person who influenced your life choices. A person who influenced your life choices. Over to you, Natasha Kumar.
It was the year 2001. I was working in Mumbai, and I decided to move back home to my parents in Delhi. And one evening, my father said, "Come along with me. There's something interesting I would like you to participate in." Little did I know that he was taking me to the American consulate among a group of expats, about 20 of them, and I was a misfit. They were eloquent speakers. They were senior in every respect, in age, in experience, and ability. And they were making speeches on, one of them I think even spoke about his dog, if I remember right. And then there were a few of people who at the end of the meeting, they made comments on the speeches that were made. I got back home and I told my dad, "Where do you think you took me? And why did you take me there?" And that's when he introduced me to Toastmasters. And he said, "Just give it a try. Trust me, it will make a difference in your life." Very reluctantly, he was my mentor. He was my father. I said, okay. And that was when I signed up for the Toastmasters Club in New Delhi, which met at the American Consulate back then in 2001. And boy, that has changed my life today. It really has. And which is why I keep coming back. I make the choices to press the Zoom link in any random WhatsApp group and look forward to attending meetings in any part of the world. I'm glad I made that choice 21 years ago, because that has truly influenced and made a big change in my life. And there's only one person I'm thankful to for that, and that is my father. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, and back to you.
Thank you, Madam Natasha, for this wonderful personalized speech. Now we have come to the last question, the last of the table topics. Do we have any volunteers here? Right, excuse me. I would like to call DTM Manas. DTM Manas, do emotions influence your decision? Do emotions influence your decisions?
Well, fellow Toastmasters, my dear friends, have I ever made a good decision in my life? That's a big question to be asked. And am I emotional person? That's another big question to be asked. Long back in 2005, when I graduated from my college, I took a decision of not going into the hotels, but joining quick service restaurants after 3 years of my hotel management studies. That was an emotional decision which I had to take because I had no choice. Five years post that decision, I met my wife, and we ended up in an arranged marriage. And that decision was not emotional at all. So in my life, whatever decisions I have taken, whether it's emotional or not emotional, it's a way we react to those situations later on, which makes that decisions fruitful. Today, I am a successful quick service restaurant professional where I consider myself successful because of that emotional decision which I took 15 years back. And today, I'm a father of 2 children and a proud husband of my beautiful wife. And that's because of a non-emotional decision which I took of marrying her. So life is not about decisions. It's about how you face the consequences of those decisions which you made. Back to Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, DTM Manas. It is always difficult for empathetic people to keep emotions at bay when making decisions. With that, we end the table topic session, and thank you very much for the participation from our guests as well as our fellow Toastmasters. Over to you, Presiding Officer.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Sunita, for that excellent table topic session. You had all the topics lined up in terms or in line with the theme, and I believe all our members who spoke on the virtual lectern for the impromptu speech session did a fabulous job. So we just have one more job to go about before we end up the table topic session. Mr. Timer, have all the table topic speakers qualified?
Good evening, Toastmasters.
Good evening, Toastmaster Dr. Arunachalam.
Today, all the table topic speakers are qualified.
Thank you very much. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, we had 5 table topic speakers. In order, they were distinguished Toastmaster Saurabh, Toastmaster Omar Farooq, Toastmaster Ibrahim, Toastmaster Natasha, and distinguished Toastmaster Manaz. The link is being shared on your chat box in the Zoom chat. It's a Google Forms link. Kindly click on the link and vote for the best table topic speaker whom you feel performed to the best of their abilities. Without further ado, we just now have time for breakfast. In terms of our speaker speech, Toastmaster Rajan was talking about breakfast, the feedback of champions. And this is going to be the feedback session. That's our general evaluation session. So one of the important choices that we make as Toastmasters, in fact, even we had our guest, Madam Toastmaster Natasha, talking about how people were actually making comments about the speech. That was the first time experience. In fact, we also thought that what is this, somebody commenting about our experience? And initially it felt as though it's all too much of flowery talk, you know, always putting the sandwich method and trying to put the bitter stuff in between those 2 sweet loaves of cake or bread or whatever you call it as. And this was a little bit unusual as a new Toastmaster. As a rookie Toastmaster, when you are there in the first few meetings, you feel that, okay, why am I receiving these comments? But you know, this choice that we made as Toastmasters of receiving feedback in an enthusiastic fashion actually encouraged us to move forward in the ladder of Toastmasters, and not just in Toastmasters, but also in all walks of life. How important feedback is and how beautifully you could receive feedback in spite of those small critical elements, and how you could use that constructively to make you take ahead. So to conduct today's general evaluation session, we have a guest here with us. She has joined us from really far off, and she is a homemaker, a proud homemaker. That's what she chooses to call herself, and also a Zumba instructor by profession. Her personal belief is that no stone should remain unturned, and learning is an ongoing process. Noble thoughts. We all know that learning is an ongoing process, but how often do we think that we should leave no stone unturned in that process of learning and achieving something. Great thought by someone who is going to be a general evaluator too. And her final belief is that learning new things with each passing day is what is the funda of her life. Really a cool funda, Thanda funda, rather I would call it. Let us put our hands together to welcome our general evaluator for today, Toastmaster Neha Jaitilia, who has joined us from all the way from Kuwait. Toastmaster Neha, the virtual lectern is all yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sundar Ramalingam. And it's my pleasure to be here. But I want to correct you on one thing. I'm not from far away from Saudi. I'm just near to Saudi. I'm from Kuwait. It's the nearest place, I think, from
in your own
Kuwait
words, it's just a stone's throw. Compared to our guests who are there from India, it's just a stone's throw to Kuwait.
Yes. So without further ado, feedback or evaluation is something for which we are here in Toastmasters for. It gives you to give a constructive feedback to help us to improve for our further projects. As Toastmaster Rajan Jose rightly said, feedback is one of the essential elements of effective communication. So for the feedback session and for the evaluation section, I have a team of my evaluators. So first we'll start with the evaluation of the speakers, the prepared speeches. So we'll start with the speaker one, the evaluator one. For our first speaker, that is Toastmaster Dr. Arunachalam. I think I'm pronouncing it right. Please correct me if it's wrong. He is from Tamil Nadu and working as an associate professor at King's South University in research field. He has published several scientific articles in his research area. And he is in Riyadh from last 9 years. So Toastmaster Dr. Arunachalam, you have 2 to 3 minutes for your evaluation. And for the timer, they will be flashing the cards, red, yellow, and green respectively at 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 30 seconds, and 3 minutes, with 30 seconds to wrap up your speech. Wrap up your evaluation, I think. Toastmaster Dr. Arunachalam.
Am I audible?
Clear.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Respected Toastmasters and guests, good evening to all. My speaker, Toastmaster Rajiv, thank you for the wonderful speech. Life is the best school. Nature is the best teacher. Problem is the best assignment. Failure is the best revision. Success is the best result. So today, your evaluation result is outstanding. You started your speech with the quote with, "A good plan today is better than perfect plan tomorrow." What a great quote. Then you talk about the project planning, and it's not only apply for the professional life, and also explain how it is applied in our daily lives. And you started with your own experience in your day-to-day life using a few strategy. It was a beautiful manner of delivering your speech. You described your pouch traveling ability. You are the excellent project manager because you focus the perfect plan, such as the first you sitting near your pouch for driving and backside, and finally away from the car, and also took the night time to avoid the accident when traveling. And finally, you assigned the responsibility for dropping your daughter at the school. It was the fascinated your speech for the topics. And next, you mentioned the project management as a basic principles that has been particularly outcome in the Toastmaster context. You spoke about the club elections was a fascinating example for project management. And also you discussed the main concept of the Vice President Educations and Vice President Membership. These are the main concept of your project goal. It was a great. Last but not the least, you ended with a quote to the Winston Churchill's, "I felt the great to be done." I noted yours during the speeches for that, the few positive points, the way of in which arrangement your speech was effective, and you look at very quickly of the themes. Your speech was project management. Your way of speaking and self-confidence is good because it was prepared a well speech with a well-crafted speech today. You completed to fulfill your main mission. For the few recommendations for your speaking ability improve for the next level, you could use the humorous during your speech. I could say that even more effective. The Toastmaster Rajiv, you have made a great steps and today's speech was very effective. You are well on your way of being the great speaker. It's going to be inspired to see progress in this Toastmaster journey. Back to General Evaluator.
Thank you for the evaluator, Dr. Arunachalam. It was a great evaluation, and we'll first move on to our next evaluator, who is Toastmaster Mohammad Mateen, and he'll be evaluating our second speaker. Toastmaster Mohammad Mateen. He is a management graduate, a reader, a salesperson, an adventurer, and a health freak, and an MC, whatnot. He's a logistic and supply chain professional and works at Freight World Riyadh. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome my second evaluator, Toastmaster Mohammad Mateen.
Could you please pin the timer, Zoom Master?
Yeah, it'll be done.
Thank you. Very good evening, fellow Toastmasters, my dear guests, and a special evening to our speaker. What a fantastic way to give a speech based on the previous feedback by having a theme, feedback, the breakfast of championship. It was a real breakfast. And Toastmaster Rajan Jose, like a sponge, you have absorbed all the feedback what your previous evaluator has given. You had a fantastic beginning with a quote. You said that life is too short with the quote, and you said that delight every bite. And then you went on to say about the 1-minute book, and then the breakfast is an important meal of the day and how it impacts the whole day. It all matters with that small little breakfast where the energy shoots on to your body and gives all that enthusiasm for that day. You had a personal story of your mom telling that how she used to prepare the batter. Then you had another personal story where you said that the proper mentoring from the Toastmasters, how it has helped you. It was overall a great speech with call of action at the end and punchline ending. If at all, if I have to give some suggestions which would take the speech to the next level, I would say that humor. When you spoke of the Valentine's Day and you said that the life turns upside down, you could have said that topsy-turvy from bouquets to brickbat, some incidents which happened during the Valentine's Day, how it turned your life. And also that if at all, if you can use the stage in a proper way, the total camera frame, the words were coming out from your mouth like the pearls of wisdom coming out from a falls. It was so fantastic. But if at all, if you could have given the pauses and that shown up the emotions when you spoke about your mother, the batter, the idlis, the gift, and everything, that could have added more value to the speech. You also said that the drop of water when it joins the ocean. You could have given that a little drop of water when it joins the ocean, how it turns into the power of the waves and how the power is generated from a small little drop of water. Overall, it was a fantastic speech. You had a great audience involvement by asking A, B, C, D, E, F, which is there in the feedback. Excellent Toastmaster Rajan Josh. It was a fantastic speech. Should you imbibe these few little recommendations from our side, your speech would go to the next level and you would be a champion speaker who have had the great breakfast from his mom. Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mohammad Mateen. Thank you for the evaluation. Now, moving on to our third evaluator, that is Toastmaster Jabir Ali, who will be evaluating our third speaker. Toastmaster Jabir Ali is a mechanical engineer graduate. He is from Tamil Nadu, India, and currently working as a supply chain manager at Al-Fanar Electrical System and have a 17 years of experience in this field. So let me welcome Toastmaster Jabir Ali to evaluate our third speaker. Over to you. Please unmute yourself.
Once again, warm good evening to General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Give a special applause to my speaker, Ibrahim Karjikar, for his wonderful speech. Wow, we all enjoyed and learned the different approach of handling conflicts and the way to find a resolution for any conflicts. He started with a question: how many of us arguing with our wife and spouse? And he attracted in the beginning of the speech interaction by interacting with the audience. My speaker delivered a very well organized speech. His speech was having very good opening, body, conclusion. He shared his own experience when he was an executive in an international cricket club and how he handled the conflict with the player Silva and his wife, and how brilliantly he opened their eyes and find a resolution. He shared an important message to all the audience to open and willing to negotiate in order to resolve any conflict which we are facing in our life. My speaker performed an excellent in the clarity of his speech and very good eye contact. He performed very good body gesture. He delivered his entire speech with more confidence and more comfortable. Always we have room for improvement. I have two recommendations for my speaker. The first one is to include some humor in his speech. And the second one is to add some vocal variety in his speech. By adding these two recommendations, my speaker, he can be a champion speaker. Overall, I enjoyed the speech. My speaker delivered a very good speech. I wish my speaker all the best to get all the success in his Toastmaster journey. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Jabir Ali. Now, moving up towards our last segment of evaluation, that is our table topic evaluator. For this, I like to call upon DTM Guru Rajan. He is a senior consulting engineer in Saudi Electricity, and he'll be evaluating our table topic contestants. So you'll be, timer, please note, he'll be having 2 minutes, 30 seconds for his evaluation. And the green light will be shown at 2 minutes, 30 seconds, at 3 minutes, yellow, and at 3 minutes, 30 seconds, red card will be flashed. With 4 minutes, you will be given to wrap up your evaluation for the table topic contestants. Over to you, Toastmaster Guru Rajan.
One second, tell me the timing.
DT. It will be 2 minutes, 30 seconds for red.
Okay.
And at 3 minutes,
Point of
yellow.
information, ma'am. 2 minutes, 30 seconds for green.
Green, yeah.
Green. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, then.
Yeah. 2 minutes, 30 seconds, then 3 minutes, then 3 minutes, 30 seconds, respectively, for green,
Yeah.
yellow, and red.
Okay.
With 30 seconds to wrap up your evaluation.
Yes. Okay, got it.
Over to you.
Am I audible?
Yes.
General Evaluator and fellow Toastmasters and guests, a warm good evening to all of you. Today, really enjoyed the amazing table topic session, and hats off to the table topic master, Toastmaster Sunita Jani. And really, whatever the speeches, what I received is ferocious nature, though the questions are more with the topic. I will go the speakers the same order. The first topic was, is it your choice or abilities that you truly are? To DTM Surab Tiwari. He told his personal story, and he told very clearly he never agreed with the choices or abilities. Finally told we have to make the efforts. The efforts are more important to get the fruits in the long run. It's a very good speech. I really enjoyed it. What I would suggest to the speaker is, you could have made a little more better opening. You had a very good body, just a better opening, and you can stand and deliver the speech. It gives you a lot of energy and the vocal variety so that you can influence your audience. The next topic to Toastmaster Umar Farooq. If given a choice, what is the decision would like to reverse? He did the excellent technique. You totally disagree with the topic. This is one of the way really to attract the audience attention. He told he's not going to, he doesn't like reversing any of his decisions, and he's ready to face the consequences. It was a good speech, and finally he said, we have to learn from our decisions. What I would suggest to the speaker would be, he could make a better opening of this speech, because straight away he talked about, I will not reverse the decision. He told the decision in the beginning itself. He could have made a small opening, and then he could have made some personal story. Story will really, it will go deep into the hearts of the audience, and perhaps he can use some quotation just to influence the people. The third speaker is Toastmaster Ibrahim Kachikar. The topic was, destiny is not the matter of chance, but it's the matter of choice. He questioned the audience. He had the vocal variety, and then his body was really good. He said, you make a choice and then you face the consequences. And his closing was very good. What I can suggest, one suggestion for him is, please, you can have your personal story. Next is a Toastmaster, Nidharshakumar. I really enjoyed her speech. She connected her speech more with the Toastmastering, and then in fact, on the speech on dog was a little bit of humor on the one. Finally, she told that she's attending the meeting now. There's a practical example. It's a very good speech she has given. Only what I suggest is a little bit of opening and standing with the vocal variety and use of quotation. This will really improve your speech. The last one is DTM Manas. He did a very good opening with a question and a very good closing and a personal story. It's a very good speech. I would suggest him to have more energy in speaking today. I find less energy, and make a little bit of vocal variety. With this, I conclude my evaluation. I really enjoyed my evaluator today for the table topics. Over to the general evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Gurajan, for such an elaborate evaluation and for listening to all the table topics in such a way and giving them all the feedbacks they require to be a better table topic speaker. Thank you so much. Now, may I request our timer to tell us whether all the evaluators are qualified for the voting.
Good evening, general evaluators. All the evaluators are qualified.
Okay, so may I request our TMOD to please raise a poll for the best evaluator?
It has been done, general evaluator. You may please proceed with your proceedings. The link is already shared in the chat box.
Okay. So for the evaluations, that was such a nice section, and thank you so much all the evaluators for helping me out to evaluate the speakers and the table topic masters, and for such a valuable evaluation you have given. So for the evaluation session, I would like to say some of the evaluators have just utilized the time summarizing the speech of their target speaker instead of giving time to the evaluations. So they are short of time. They have just summarized the speech of the evaluator. So please put more efforts on what are the good points and what are the bad points instead of summarizing the speech as a whole. You can just add on few points what he was talking about and on what basis you are evaluating. The best thing I liked about the evaluators is they were standing and giving their evaluations. And that was giving us a feel of being a Toastmaster standing on a stage, not on a virtual podium. So that was a very good thing I liked about the evaluators. One thing I liked about our second evaluator, Toastmaster Mohammed Mateen, that he jumped into the evaluation in a great way with examples. And he has given the suggestions on improvement with examples on what your target speaker needs to improve on and how to improve on. So this is the best way, and I feel this is the thing which every speaker is looking forward for. Need to improve, but how to improve is also another question. So I like the way he has wrapped up his evaluation with how to improve, where to improve, and how to improve with examples. So I love the way you evaluated, and all the best to all the evaluators. And for now, I'll be handing over the podium to the TMOD.
Thank you very much, General Evaluator, Toastmaster Neha. We would also appreciate your feedback regarding the overall meeting, and also if you could call upon the meeting leaders' reports, because according to our agenda, it's part of the General Evaluators. The R counter, the grammarian, and the timer.
Okay, so first I'll give my report, then I'll call upon the leaders, is it? Okay.
The choice is yours.
Okay, so first I'll like to tell you I'll go with my report. I like the way the meeting started bang on time, and though there were some of the members missing, and the promptness with which they have taken up the roles. This is what a team is all about. Without any notice, and they were all prepared, they were well bang on, and there was no confusion at all. So I love the way you have started the meeting with. And I feel the TMOD has executed the role in a very systematic way, and applauding all the winners from the last meeting was a very good way to boost up all the members. But one thing which I was looking forward to see was the summary of the last meeting. Like what was the topic and how it went. whether there were some role changes, whether they have taken up the roles, there were guests, and how the meeting went on. I was looking forward for such a brief summary of the last meeting with the winners which you had. And it would then have one more thing I want to suggest, and which I found missing in this. All the role players, if they, it will be good if they put their role in front of their name. For example, even I have not put it's Toastmaster Neha. Instead, I must have kept it's Toastmaster GE Toastmaster Neha. So it will be easy for guests to find out instead of searching for the name. Because as a new member, we are not acquainted with the face. We have to read all the names. So it will be easy to find out timer. Like, for example, timer has written to timer, aha counter. So evaluator 1, evaluator 2, evaluator 3, speaker 1, speaker 2, speaker 3. So it would have been more easier for us as a guest to find out who the role belongs to instead of looking at the whole screen. And the thing I found was our table topic master was bang on time. She knew how much topic she has to take according to the time. So she was well in time without any confusion, without any conflicts. So I like the way she has taken the table topics. And one thing I found was missing is virtual background. If there would have been a virtual background, it would given her uniformity to the whole meeting. Instead of different backgrounds, a virtual background related to the theme or related to the club would have been much better. And word of the day, I found it difficult to use the word of the day because it was not displayed anywhere. If the word of the day is displayed with the grammarian as a virtual background, it will be easier for everyone to use the word of the day because it's said it's out of sight, out of mind. If it would have been in front of me, it would be easier and it would have boosted me to use the word as often as I can. So these were some of the things, but the good thing is the meeting was flawless. It went on. At any point of time, I have not felt that some roles have changed or somebody else have taken up the roles. It was so smooth and really appreciate, and I really feel good to be part of this meeting. Thank you for having me in this meeting. Thank you so much. Over to you. Now I would like to call upon our leaders, the meeting leaders for their reports. So I'll start with our counter first.
Thank you, General Evaluator, Madam Toastmaster Neha. As an accounter, I was eagerly waiting for counting the hours. The prepared speech session was finished. Then I am looking for the table topic where we can found a lot of hours usually. But it was like a heterogeneous mixture of contestants. They were awesome. I didn't get that much of hours. And when it goes to the evaluation, again, they are all like professional evaluators. Even though I found some, so DTM Dr. Sundar used R twice and so twice. Toastmaster Rajiv used R 7 times and so 4 times, like 1 times, and repeated word I 21 times. Toastmaster Mateen used R 3 times. Toastmaster Rajan Jose used R 1 time and like 1 time. Toastmaster Umar Farooq used so 3 times and because as a repeated word 3 times. Toastmaster Natasha used R 1 time. TTM Manas used so 1 time. Toastmaster Neha used R 5 times. And DTM Gurajan used R 2 times. Thank you, and back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Muhammad Shakir, for such a elaborated evaluation of all the ahs and ums. Now moving up towards our grammarian, Toastmaster Manaz, DTM Manaz.
Thank you very much, General Evaluator Toastmaster Neha. Today, as a grammarian and the word master, the word of the day, as General Evaluator rightly said, was used by very little Toastmasters, very few Toastmasters. Toastmaster Sunita Joni, Toastmaster Rajan Jose, Toastmaster Shakir, Distinguished Toastmaster Gururajan used the word of the day today once. The favorite quote in today's meeting, which I liked the most, was "Feedback is the breakfast of the champions." There were a lot of amazing words words used in today's meeting. Or some few of those which I like personally were milestones, real life scenario, endeavor, Indian stick practice, sweat and bled, second to none, imbibe, etc. There were few grammatical corrections, but not major. Was a crucial. The article is not required there, so it's like was crucial. Once I done that, it's like once I did that, etc. So it's mostly to do with the present continuous tense usage in the proper manner, which can be definitely improved in our meetings. With that note, I wish great meetings in our coming days, where we learn from our mistakes and uses the words which we learn today, freshness, in our next meetings as well. Back to General Evaluator.
Thank you, our grammarian, for the report. Now, moving towards our vote counter, as timer has given us the report already. Now, moving up towards our vote
I will
counter.
give the details in the timer.
Okay.
Point of order.
Okay.
Timer, I will give the details of timing, which time they are used, minutes and seconds.
Okay. So I'd like to welcome Toastmaster Dr. Arunachalam for the timer's report.
These are all our timer reports. Today, actually, all the prepared speaker and table topic and evaluator speakers used for exact time. All the speakers are qualified. First, I'm going to give the first report for the prepared speaker, Toastmaster Rajiv. He used for the 6 minutes 5 seconds, and Toastmaster Rajan Jose 7 minutes 28 seconds, and Toastmaster Ibrahim Ali Karchikar 7 minutes 26 seconds. So all are qualified. The next going to for the table topic session, first speaker TTM Saurus Tiwari 2 minutes 27 minutes qualified, and next is table topic speaker Toastmaster Umar Farooq 2 minutes 20 seconds, and Toastmaster Ibrahim Ali Karchikar 2 minutes 21 seconds, and Toastmaster Natasha Kumar 2 minutes 5 seconds, and TTM Manas 2 minutes 25 seconds. And the final evaluation session, the first evaluator Toastmaster Dr. Arunachalam used 3 minutes 28 seconds. Toastmaster Matin used 3 minutes 17 seconds. Toastmaster Jabar Ali 2 minutes 14 seconds. And Toastmaster Gururajan Rajagopalan 3 minutes 54 seconds. So all are qualified. Back to the general evaluator.
Thank you so much, timer, for such a detailed report. And I love the way you presented the report, so well organized. And it was something new I have seen, because generally in every meeting, we just see the timer telling you the time, are they qualified or not? And that's it. This is something which I have seen and I really appreciate, and looking forward to inculcate this thing into our club as well. Thank you so much, timer, Dr. Arunachalam. Now, moving up towards our DTM, Dr. Sundar
Point of
Ramalingam.
information, we still have 2 more votings to go. So I will be presenting the voting report at the end to the presiding officer. This is how it goes in our club meeting.
Okay.
So we'll now vote for the best meeting leader.
Okay.
I'll be sharing the link.
Okay.
And you can carry on with your session. That's it.
in Toastmasters, all the meetings are there, whether it will be a TMOD, whether it will be a speaker or an evaluator or a G, there is always, we learn. In every meeting, there is always new things which we learn. Though we are Toastmasters from, some of us are Toastmasters from last 9 years, some from 10 years, 15 years. But I can assure you, in every meeting, you learn something new. There is never this thing like we have already seen. There are always new speakers. And I thank you, the club, for inviting me in the meeting and for giving me such a nice, for making me, for listening to such nice speeches, for such great table topics and such organized work and team efforts. Thank you, and I'll hand over to the Toastmaster of the day for the further proceedings. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster Neha, our General Evaluator for today. A very big round of applause for our General Evaluator for conducting such an eloquent feedback session. And I believe that in the words of our speaker, Toastmaster Rajan, we all enjoyed a sumptuous breakfast thanks to our General Evaluator, Toastmaster Neha. And as a club, we have a lot of takeaways from your evaluation, ma'am. Thank you very much for those wonderful points. And I'm sure that these would be conveyed to the Vice President Education to be taken forward and make ourselves a better version. I saw the background of our evaluator, Toastmaster Mohammadi, and a better version of yourself. So to see a better version of ourselves in forthcoming meetings. So with that, we come to the end of the education session. So let me just close with one interesting remark. Actually, I was searching for quotes. I just took up the role of the TMOD as a stand-in at the last moment. So I was just browsing through for quotes about choices in life and all of those things. So one interesting quote, not credited to any particular person, but some wise man has somewhere written it, said it, or described it. In life, we have 3 C's: choices, chances, and changes. You must make a choice to take a chance, or your life never changes. So let us all take the choice, or make the choice to take a chance to change our lives. And being in Toastmasters is one great choice to see a better change in our lives. So with that, I come to the end of the session of the TMOD, and I take over the session as the presiding officer. And congratulations and kudos to a great meeting, all the big three role players, the TMOD, the Table Topics Master especially, and the General Evaluator more specifically, did a fabulous job. And it's now time for us to vote for the best of the big three. So since I have taken multiple roles, I would like to recuse myself from the voting. I would request you to vote between the Table Topics Master and the General Evaluator, whom you feel as the best role player. So the voting link is being shared. As the voting goes on, we will now hear from our guests. We had a few guests joining us from afar, so I think they are still here with us despite the time. I would love to hear from our guests who have joined from India. Distinguished Toastmaster Saurabh, really happy to have you with us here in the meeting. Could you please, unfortunately, we couldn't hear your introduction. We would like to hear about you and also your feedback about today's meeting. DTM Saurabh?
Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah, loud and clear. But we are not able to see you.
Yeah, it's actually too late night in India.
That's okay.
I'm really sorry. I would not be able to switch on the video.
Not
now.
a problem. That's absolutely fine.
Thank you so much. So I would like to say, yes, I joined a little late, and that's the reason probably why I could not introduce myself in the beginning. Thanks to Toastmaster Umar, who is a very good friend, and I would say he is a globally omnipresent Toastmaster. Wherever you go in the world, you will find Umar everywhere. And he's the one who helped us to get information about any meeting happening any corner of the world. And that's how I reached to your club. So this is my first time. And whatever I have seen, somewhat I joined when probably the third prepared speaker was speaking. I have seen section 1, section 2, that is table topics, and then evaluations. It was a wonderful experience. You trust me, I'm a Toastmaster for 4 years. And I have seen a lot of meetings, a lot of Toastmasters and the way they execute their meetings. But the grace, the beauty, the pace, the depth, the evaluations, the feedback, everything that you people have been doing for the last so many minutes, I just loved it. So as I have written in my message in the Zoom chat, I would love to come back again. If you have any WhatsApp group, I have already dropped my number. Feel free to add me, and would love to invite all of you also to my meetings. So I'm not really sure who's the right person. Please take my number and drop a WhatsApp message to me so that we can connect and join meetings more with each other. Once again, thank you so much. It was a great experience, no doubts. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster Sundar.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Saurabh, for that really encouraging feedback that we would always love to hear from guests who join us. And definitely, we will add you to our guests group and would really feel happy if you are joining us at any point in time. I know that timing is a big constraint when members join. Although we are, Taj basically is an Indian community club. We have most of our members who are Indians. Although we stay here in Saudi Arabia, we are expatriates working here.
Lovely.
And timing is the only constraint when we have members. And despite the timing, you are still here with us. That indeed it is a great reward, I believe, for us as a club. Let us also hear from our other guest, Madam Toastmaster Natasha, delivered a great speech. Both of you, thank you very much for that great table topics. It was a learning experience for us to hear from you people, DTM Saurabh and Toastmaster Natasha. Toastmaster Natasha, over to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for having me here. And once again, I echo Saurabh's thoughts. Thanks to Omar for being the guiding light, for bringing me here. It's always a pleasure to visit clubs all over the world. And to my credit, if I may say, this is the 46th country that I am visiting. And I'm on a journey to make the most of Zoomland. I've enjoyed this. I echo every bit of what Saurabh has said. The energy and enthusiasm that I'm taking with me. It is almost midnight, but believe me, I'm probably going to go attend another meeting because I'm so energized by all the speeches, the table topics, and the very valuable feedbacks that I have heard here today. Wish you all the very best and look forward to be back here. Hopefully, not just in Zoomland, maybe an offline meeting in Saudi Arabia. Thank you so much, sir, for this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Natasha, for that exuberant feedback. We feel happy that you have been energized by Taj Club meetings. Always we feel, here Monday is the first, it's not the first day of the week, it's rather the second day of the week. After a busy day, we start our meeting around 7:15. But one thing that we always see is whenever we enter the Toastmasters Club, by the time we are out, we are all cheerful, exuberant, and energized. And we are happy that we have carried it forward to you. And despite the timing there, you are still enthusiastic enough to attend one more meeting. And all the very best for you to make it a 100 or a century or 100 number of countries that you visit the meetings through Zoomland, and wish the best for you. One day, probably we would all meet a physical meeting when you arrive here in Saudi Arabia, or probably when we get a chance to come back in India and join your club meeting. Thank you very much. And already I see that our Vice President membership, a proactive distinguished Toastmaster Manaz, has included DTM Saurabh into our guest groups, so you would be updated. If you wouldn't mind, Toastmaster Natasha, you could drop your number as well in the chat so we could include you in the guest group, so you are updated of our meetings. We meet every week on Mondays, and of late we are trying to switch to a hybrid platform as well. Hopefully next week would be a hybrid meeting. We'll meet physically with a Zoom connection for members to join online as well. So having said that, we come to the end of the feedback session, and I already gave you a teaser of the announcement that I wish to make. So for all our members here, next week, our meeting would be a physical meeting like what we did in December. So we will be having 1 week online and 1 week physical meetings. And for the benefit of members joining online, so we would try to have a hybrid setup. I'm not sure if we'll be able to have speeches deliverable through the online platform, but at least you can join and enjoy the meetings in the online platform. And the venue details and the Zoom details and the links would be shared shortly in the WhatsApp group. And there is also another important announcement to make. It's now time for renewing and continuing our Toastmasters journey. So renewals are open for the next cycle. So we will be sharing the details of the renewal fees and also the incidental expenses that will be coming across for our club expenses, as well as the physical meeting expenses that will be coming forward. So that would be shared again in the WhatsApp group after discussion with the ExCom. So it is now time for us to go forward and see who are the winners for our today's meeting. So are you all ready? Great. So here we have the results for today's meeting. So the winner of the prepared speech session was our best table topic speaker was Toastmaster Natasha. Our best evaluator was Toastmaster Mohammed Mateen. Our best meeting leader was our timer, Toastmaster Dr. Arunachalam. And the best of big three was our general evaluator, Toastmaster Nidharshakumar. Congratulations and kudos to all the winners of today's meeting. Is there any feedback or any announcements to be made? VP membership, DTM Manas, would you like to add anything or your comment about today's meeting?
Not really, but our payment for this next cycle is due. So all the members who would love to pay in. So that,
point of order, can we switch off the live stream of YouTube?
No, I think the meeting is still not adjourned, so we can.
So we will be coming up. I think distinguished Toastmaster Dr. Sundar, will you be announcing the payment cycle mode, because we will be ready to collect the next.
It will be announced in the WhatsApp group.
All right.
Okay. Including the fees that will be payable to Toastmasters International, as well as the incidental expenses towards our meetings. Yes, Toastmaster Ibrahim has a hand raised.
Yes.
Would ExCom consider sending personal messages to individual Toastmasters saying, this is what your financial status is, you owe club XXX? That would be very helpful.
Will be doing. So we have already made our payments till March. So the payment which we are going to collect is from April onwards.
Just a point to add on that one. Actually, we have made our payments till March for TMI. And the club fee payments, except for a few members who joined recently, have been paid until December only, for those of whom who have been members with us since before. So the remaining members would have to pay from January onwards. So we will work out individually how much it is and then share it within this week. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor.
Okay,
that's
so
it. And
that's
look
it.
forward to meet you in person in the next meeting.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Vice President Membership, Distinguished Toastmaster Manas. I now request you all to stand up for the National Anthem. The meeting is officially adjourned.